to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Call the meeting to order. Motion to approve the agenda.
I have one correction to make that. I'd like to add to the agenda, authorize chairman to sign, just down at the bottom, authorize chairman to sign 509A filing.
509A?
For 2018-19. Has to do with our health insurance.
I would make that motion with that correction.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Approve the minutes of 8/26.
I read through it and I didn't see anything, so it looks, so moved.
Second.
There's something I seen in it, but I don't. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
The only question I had was that, the jailer, is that the one that we were, didn't we have one, did I see that one resign? Another one?
This is another one.
That's
another one.
It's not this one.
Okay. So I'm assuming Dean and will be back up here to fill us in on that.
He told me, when I was it, I was up here Friday night, that he'd be up here Monday morning.
All right.
Okay. Approve the minutes.
Numbers.
General public concern.
You can look at it.
Anybody out here for general public? Okay. Representative from CFR, proclamation for National Recovery Month in September.
Well, unfortunately, we don't let you sit out in the crowd, you gotta come up here. We have to torture you and move you up here to the front.
Hi. This is another representative.
I know, there's you always chair over there.
Good Lord. Do we need to be on a mic? Is this...
No, it'll pick you up.
Yeah, I think
Okay, it'll still pick up. Okay. Shall I just read the proclamation?
We can introduce yourself.
Sure, my name is Wayne Judkins, and I'm with Community Family Resources. I'm out of the Webster City office. I'm a prevention specialist.
And my name's Lori Lawman, and I also work at CFR, and I work in the Fort Dodge office, and I'm also here in Humboldt one day a week, in Pocahontas one day a week, and Rock City one day a week.
Welcome. What's your proclamation?
Okay, so the Recovery Month proclamation. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of health and one's overall wellness, and whereas prevention of mental and/or substance use disorders works, treatment is effective, and recovery is vital to the well-being of the individual and the community, and whereas proactively acknowledging and treating mental and/or substance use disorders is essential to achieving healthy lifestyles both physically and emotionally, and whereas we must encourage relatives and friends of people with mental and/or substance use disorders to implement preventive measures, recognize the signs of a problem, and guide those in need to appropriate treatment and recovery support services, and whereas, given the serious nature of this public health problem, we must strive to offer all persons the same opportunities for treatment and wellness, and whereas approximately 100,000 Iowans currently receive treatment for mental illness or substance abuse addiction, and whereas in 2017, an estimated 20.7 million people aged 12 and older needed substance use treatment, but just 4 million received treatment, and whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, and the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors invite all residents of Humboldt County to participate in National Recovery Month in Humboldt County by virtue of the authority vested in us by the laws of Humboldt County, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2019 as National Recovery Month in Humboldt County, and call upon the people of Humboldt County to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's Recovery Month.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm on that board, so I'm been aware that you guys were on your way up, and I guess I would make the motion to, proclaim September as National Recovery Month in Humboldt County. We need a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And I would also like to, you know, for those that are looking, the new facility down in Fort Dodge is up and running. They're working the bugs and trying to get all of the nooks and crannies covered up before the winter in case they have any issues that mechanically, but from what I understand, everything is running good. Slowly but surely our numbers are going up and everything looks good, so.
We also have an event next Saturday, in Fort Dodge. This past Saturday, we had one, in Ames. We had a 5K there, which I ran, and I'm walking a little gingerly still from that. Age is not kind. But I don't think we have, is there a 5K for Fort Dodge? I don't think there is, but it's just a day-long thing of events and whatnot.
Saturday afternoon from 2 to 4. This coming Saturday afternoon, it's a family fun festival.
And where do you hold that?
We hold it at the new
At the new
facility.
facility.
Right.
Okay.
Will people be able to go on tours then, do you know?
I don't know about that.
I don't know that much, I just know I'm doing the beanbag tosses.
I haven't heard anything about tours.
I don't think so.
There's probably
Not with the facility with people in there.
Yeah, that was offered earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
We had our meeting down there for CSS, it was really nice for Quad, so, if I wasn't able to go to the tour.
well, we appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
She did a pretty good job.
Okay, marvelous.
Back with that.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And how many counties is it that we cover now? I'm sorry.
I watched, is it 7 or 9? It's Hamilton, Humboldt, Pocahontas, Calhoun, Webster, Wright, Story. I think.
It's Buena Vista or,
No. No.
Thank you for your help.
Hokie.
Okay. Could we possibly get a quick picture?
no, that's, we can't do that. Some of us have wanted to post Where you wanna do it? Corner, out in the hall? Peggy, where do you recommend?
Where's the best photogenic?
Usually better out in the hallway.
Okay, then let's do the
Let's
hallway.
go to the hall.
We just have one space here,
Yeah, maps.
unfortunately.
You wanna get in the photo? You're the local rep, you better be in it.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna need a photographer.
That's a good idea. We'll keep things under control.
Yeah, we keep everything lined up.
Turn around. Why?
Yeah, I used to drink for 3/4.
Why did you do that?
Quite a range of time.
She missed.
And they Christmas did not much. I
Not that hard of a range.
was kicking myself for not getting my grass seed out.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody was like,
Yesterday was just kinda blah, like, you know.
We headed into Fort Dodge for supper last night, and it was just so dark, I said, gee, it seems like it's 10 o'clock.
It's getting shorter and shorter.
It is.
Last week or so, when you get up, it's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, winter is coming, yeah. I love fall.
Oh.
The winter coming before that, just,
Yeah, right where you were before.
Yeah. Farmer's
The
Almanac.
pictures are sounding today.
No, I said the Farmer's Almanac's calling for a nasty winter, so. A nasty winter this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, I mean, we're probably due for one. But, yeah, but it didn't start till like the middle of January.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, these new copy machines are kind of scary, you can't hardly tell that it's a copy. I know. Looks so good. Uh-huh,
Is it me or is there a little stuff in here?
yeah.
Can I turn the air on?
Oh, good, oh, good. That's why I did it. That's why I did the fan, but usually I don't know.
Starts getting cold.
That's why I was bringing.
I'm used to wearing
Okay, Ben, you're 3 minutes.
We're 3 minutes early with Ben.
Yeah, early.
He's doing well, lately. Trying to keep things all on time.
Couple things on the agenda today. The first is to accept and place on file the Humboldt County fiscal year 2019 official report of the county highway engineer. This is basically our annual report that has to be submitted to the DOT before the 15th of September. It has been submitted to them and approved, I believe, last week.
So this has to do with our 5 years, is that what you said?
This is basically our annual summary of money that came in, money that went out, and projects that were 100% completed. Yeah, yeah. So this is basically, this is my annual report to the DOT that tells them how much money we had come in, how much we spent. Right, yeah.
A lot of numbers.
Big numbers
One of those that
too.
you're
Yeah.
happy that was done, when it was done?
Yeah, I had it done, back in August, but it took a while for the DOT to get back to me on that.
So they have to go through and approve it?
They go through it.
Submit it?
Yes, yep. They review it and then send back any notes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept and place on file the Humboldt County fiscal year 2019 official report for the county highway commissioner, engineer.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Application for a right of way.
The second item on the agenda is to approve an application to work in the county right-of-way. I spoke to a couple of you, I believe it was a week ago this past Friday. Midland Power wanted to be able to get in last week to do the boring. This is on Washington Avenue, just south of 140th Street, where they put up a new hog facility building. And they're looking at basically boring from the edge of our right-of-way to a pole that's adjacent to the property.
And I think all that was back and forth by email or text was, as long as their paperwork was in order, it was good, and you
Yes.
replied it was, so.
Yes, yes.
I'd make that motion to approve that application.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Is this the one where they were tearing up the road with cement trucks?
Both. There's two facilities on Washington, just one north of, 130th and one south of 140th. As you know, both of our gravel roads are fragile this year, and, while they're still fragile, they were hauling in a bunch of concrete to build their storage tank that goes underneath their facility. It's been a constant maintenance project for us, I guess, for our operator and that
drove the road last week, I thought it was pretty good.
Yep. And we hauled some additional rock in this year. It wasn't listed as a road that we were gonna rock this year, but when they decided that those were the sites, we figured we better get some more base put down.
Did you, take a look at the driveway, have they got a driveway permit yet, or?
They do have a driveway permit. I know they had said that they weren't done with it, and we've got the $500 deposit check for these, so if they don't get them built per our spec, we can basically cash the $500 check and go do it ourselves.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Approved quote from Electronic Specialties for entry door security.
Yes, so,
Your pen been back lately?
no. About a month ago, we reached out to 3 different companies that provide electronic door entries. What we've run into is quite a few times where both Dave and myself are out of the office, and that leaves Sue in there by herself. And for safety purposes, she wants to basically be able to buzz people in. We've taken quotes from multiple places, and the most feasible is the company that did the work here for the courthouse. The quote is for almost $1,300. This basically allows Sue to have a buzzer there at her desk to buzz people in. It will also have a on-off switch to electrify that. So that when we're all there, it's just normal entry. But when she's there by herself, she can flip the light switch and basically activate it so that she has control of who comes in and out.
And just so they know, this isn't the door that goes into the entry, this is the one that goes into your side.
Into our office.
So the food pantry won't be affected
They
by...
won't be affected, no.
They'll still have access to that outside door.
Right.
But I can see your point, I'd wanna, I mean, you're right there on the highway, I mean, you don't know who might pull in, and plus, there, I mean, it's just for her sake. That's
For her
what I-
sake.
It is, it's a good
Yeah, it's a
idea.
small price to pay for her sake.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I would, make a motion to approve the, electronic specialty, for entry of the door, for security.
I will second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
The fourth item that I've got on the agenda is a proposal from Fort Dodge Asphalt to do some slurry leveling throughout the county. This is...
Well, I like that, it's in your name, so that you're picking up that check?
No.
Peggy, just make sure that goes through Ben's account.
No. And, yeah, that's, it's a large amount, that's why I felt like I needed to bring it in and talk to you guys. That is our entire budget for patching and pavement repair for a year. I guess looking at it, plus the amount of work that we've got with, Denko to do some crack filling, I'd propose approving everything except for the 11 miles of P-56, $60,000. I'd look at bumping that off a year. I mean, if you break them all down, they're all basically just under $6,000 a mile to do slurry leveling.
That was high.
It's about average
Is it?
right now. South of Rutland was the most expensive, that was like $7,200 a mile.
That's what it was, so small.
Everything else was like $5,600 a mile.
Oh, so the
On
smaller
average.
the road, the more they charge us per mile?
Not necessarily, it's probably the more...
More cracks?
The more cracks.
Oh.
I mean, basically, when you're driving and you feel the thump on your tires, that's where the road has depressed on both sides of the crack. And these
okay.
slurry levels basically fill it in and smooth the road up.
Oh.
Adding to your life.
Adding to the life of the
Hoping
pavement.
to their life, adding to the life of the...
And hopefully people's tires.
Yeah. If anybody drives a semi, you would understand the bump of the... So, your recommendation is to do the other three and to skip the 11 miles?
To skip the 11 miles of P56 and put that off until, the following year. I'll talk with Fort Dodge Asphalt, and maybe it's something, they're looking at doing the work next spring, so maybe it's something that we approve all of it, and I just have them do the other part after the next fiscal year, which would be July 1.
So then if something happened, would you be able to swap that if you needed to do something else?
Right.
That 60?
That 60,000.
On a different road or
Because
something?
right now,
See if they wanna do it and just bill it for July.
and bill it for July, yeah, so I'll talk to Dan Moore, and see if that's something that's possible. If not, we'll just pull that from it.
Okay. All right, well, I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the 3 with the option on P56 to move it into next year if we can do it somehow.
Okay.
I would second that with that stipulation.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The hearing date for proposed snow removal route?
Yes, so I think I included a map with you guys of about, just under 5 miles of potential snow removal routes that we're looking at adding. I've talked to my blade operators. These are routes that have no one living on them, no facilities to speak of on them, low traffic roads. I don't see any potential issues. I did strike one of by Odison after talking to the elevator. Yeah, I talked to the elevator over there, and, they get quite a bit of grain hold
Through that
on that
road?
gravel road. But I think to do it right, we should probably post it in the paper as far as what roads we're looking at, and set a date.
We have to have a number on that, Peggy? We have to have a certain, does that have to be published and?
I don't think so. This is just common courtesy.
Well, that's what I wondered, but I didn't need to.
At the hearing date, they'll have the opportunity to come, and the hearing date will be
Right.
published.
Yep.
Oh, I'd make a motion to do that. Do we wanna set the date too then, or you wanna
We can set the date, yeah.
what are you thinking?
2 weeks, the 23rd?
We don't have anything on that date.
Does that work?
I don't know, I
Okay.
but
Okay.
we'll make it work.
So,
Do you have enough time to publish it and everything? That's up to bid.
Yeah.
Oh, you did, oh.
Yeah. Ken, I'll get you a better map
Okay.
with the routes that we're looking at, and, then we can put it in the paper.
why, you can't see that?
Funny
though, my bifocals are working.
That's paper, people are like, what are those hen scraps that the guy...
I know one thing, that makes me think trifocals may be in order to...
So you got the progressive, though, they're supposed to be like trifocal.
Exactly.
They don't work.
The 23rd, I will make that motion to set the 23rd, and I guess whatever time.
Like 8:45?
Look at that, he's jumping right in.
Wow.
Right?
Just in case there's any drainage coming in, the way I get in.
45 hours for the possibility if Peggy can make that work, 8:45 works for us.
I will second Bruce's motion.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The last thing that I've got on the agenda is basically discussion on hearing. Was it 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting with, Workman's Comp. I guess, and I attended as department head, and after 5 minutes of sitting in on the meeting, Peggy told me that I was apparently the safety coordinator for the county. I was not aware of that position up until that point. And I guess I'd like to sit down with you guys and have a discussion on that. I'm not saying that I'm not available for the job, but, if that's another hat to put on, I think we definitely need to start looking at hiring an engineering tech, to take some of the duties off of me. But I guess I'd encourage sitting down and having a work session sometime to talk about that. I guess from the workman's comp meeting, their discussion is they'd like to see the county form a safety committee, that involves basically someone from our department, someone from law enforcement, someone from the courthouse, someone from conservation, and potentially somebody from the Board of Supervisors, to sit down and list the type of safety meetings that they want to attend. I know talking to Peggy, they haven't done fire safety or CPR training or anything like that in the last decade or so. I'm comfortable with our safety program as far as secondary roads, because I know the courses that we've taken and the ones that we need to continue.
You guys are doing them every year.
Yes, but I can't speak on behalf of law enforcement as far as the safety training that they need to have and get you up on.
And the work comp insurance company will help with that.
Yes.
The training and training.
Yep. But I guess that's just, like I said, I was surprised sitting in on that meeting, so.
One of those aha moments?
Yeah, it was a deer in the headlight look, is what it was, so.
One other thing they asked for, a rough report, so that you guys can see it, they want a general safety manual put together. And I'm not sure what that would involve, but they said they have on their website templates that they can use. So that just here's their recommendations that they made. They covered the other.
I mean, I guess there's nothing really to discuss, I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention.
Oh, sure. Okay, that'd be nice to look through it.
So maybe we can...
That's okay.
I think,
Plus, at some point, I'd like to do, employee evaluation. I've been in the position for a little over a year, full-time.
You got the sheet.
And I've gotten the sheet that you guys provided, so maybe we just schedule a...
well, I'd like to talk about that sheet, because as per your comment on the email, Clay was still in there, Clay County, which I just scratched out and put Humboldt, but some of those questions for us, reading through them, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue how you interact with, people that are at work, unless I get a phone call. Somebody calls and wants to be mad, and I get to know that you were a bad guy, or you're a mean person, or whatever they tell you. So I guess I'm kinda curious to know what these guys' thoughts are, how, when I was looking at that, I'm trying to figure out where we go with that, so I'd like to kinda...
And maybe when we do this, we can kinda rewrite it for next year and...
Right, I mean, so maybe...
Pertain more to what we're...
Pull the questions that you don't feel like applies. Yeah, I've filled out my own evaluation, I guess, as far as how I critique myself. So I would be encouraged to see that from you guys.
A couple of weeks ago, you made the comment that you thought maybe I should do the foreman. Didn't you make that comment? Wondered if...
Yes.
I really think that
I feel like I should evaluate the foreman based on their performance, and I'd like to see them evaluate their employees.
I would too.
It's a good thing just to have in the file.
Right.
Because then you can see a progression.
Right.
For improvement.
Right.
Right.
And that's part of the reason why, and I'm kind of a pain in the butt for, how did we do on our 4 10-hour days? Did we, can we look at that and see what we did this year versus last year versus, are we gonna continue this, or is it a,
Is it justifiable, does it really
And I guess
meet what
that's...
we need? I would agree with that.
I'm not trying to overstep my bounds, but I think that helps us see what direction we're going and where we can all improve, so. Whatever works for you, Dave, you tell us, we're all here. Except Eric, he didn't come.
So maybe we just, I mean, would next week be soon enough that everybody could get something written down? Okay. So we just schedule a work session next week where we can talk about safety and...
We don't have any drainage.
You actually don't even took it away.
No, we don't have anything.
You got safety and HIPAA, I remember that.
Oh, on HIPAA too? Okay.
You're safe.
I better start going to the gym again then.
We do that,
Okay.
we do that, that's enough.
Anything else, Ben?
That's all I had.
Okay, anything, Ben?
Oh, I would do, I wanted to, first of all, yesterday I did a little drive around for, I wanted to see that, tile up there that Kings are gonna be working on. I told him I'd go look and see if there's any water. Of course, we had a half-inch rain the day before, so we get a little water trickling out there. So then I went up towards, 165th, and,
Did we have it open?
yeah, it was open. I was intrigued by the video of the pipe rolling into the, which I wish I would've been there. I'm still a kid at heart, I like to see stuff like that, but I was glad you videoed it. But it really looks nice. I think that you guys did a great job on the bank.
And it didn't take very long.
Oh, wow.
No, I was surprised. I mean, it was basically 3 weeks is what it took for us from the time that we started tearing the bridge out to, basically walking away from it. We've still got a couple of signs to put up, level B, minimum maintenance, no snow removal, but, signs are ordered.
I'm just a little concerned on where the pipe comes through the driveway. Are we gonna have, if we get a lot of water, is it gonna wash out from that pipe? Do we need to put a little more riprap in there?
I saw where that was at. The guys are gonna try and shoot it with grass seed and see if they can get
That's
it
what I want,
established.
if we can get it.
Otherwise, we'll
But
lay
I
some
would
fabric.
really
Rip
like
that
you to
down.
tell them, I think it looks awesome.
Okay, I'll let the guys know.
Yeah, I think they did a nice job on the, everything, and I guess the only fear I have is, there's 4 driveways, and I hope, and I'm not knocking, 'cause I, in and out at night on a drive, that's a tight corner, it's a deep ditch. Please, be careful, 'cause that's, a load of grain going over the side of that is a mess, so, but it does look really nice. They did an awesome job.
Yeah, the driveways, we didn't widen any of them, whatever width they were before is what they are now. And the pipe opening right now is wider than what the bridge was before, so hopefully the farm equipment can make them corners.
Well, as farmers, they hire people like me that come out and aren't used to driving at night and end up in trouble, so that's when farmers come up and say, "Why didn't I send you home?" So, anyway, I think it looks really nice.
I'll let the guys know.
Thanks, your man from Hardy knows that discovered the washout up there on, Xenia. Got a good job finding that.
That was,
Area payloader or combine, put it in there and just throw a little dirt on top, because that's how it's built.
yeah, that was, my foreman that noticed that.
That's bad. And there's 3 up right in a row. One of them's about 6 foot in the road.
Okay. I haven't been out there to look at it, but I know they got a drainage district work order, and they were looking at closing that road like last Wednesday or Thursday to start doing the work. And, they're gonna remove all of the sand. It was basically a sand seam down near the bottom of the dredge, and it was, soaking the material above it and just sloughing off. So he's looking at trying to pull all the sand from that and backfill with clay, so.
Yeah, it's about 6 foot from the edge of the road, and then just a few feet down, there's another one, and it's about 10 feet, and there's a great big one about 10 feet past. There's 3 of them right in the road there, too. I mean, it's deep,
Scoured right behind it.
right out. finding that stuff, we can't be everywhere.
Right, right now, we have been doing some drainage district tile work, over in, Rutland and Delana Township. I've gotten 1 or 2 work orders from the gals over here, the other 2 or 3, I'll give to Trish when she gets back on tomorrow, possibly. It's work that was reported to us while we were out doing other repairs. And once we started digging, we found out that it was a drainage district tile, and rather than just walk away,
You're there.
we were there, we fixed it. So it'll just be our time and material for it, so.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Okey-doke.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, thanks.
Okay, let's drop down to claims real quick, and then we'll move back into the drainage.
I looked at claims, you got, claims of $251,797.79, and drainage of $36,845.64.
That's what I had also. I would second Rick's motion.
Any discussion? Motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, we'll move into drainage. Do you have a motion?
I make a motion to go to drainage.
Yeah, I'll grab that one.
I'll second. I can take it, Rick.
Oh. All right.
Okay.
I do.
All in favor of going into drainage?
Aye. She wants to escape. But she can't escape, she's coming back to be the milkmaker, being Peggy's, or being Trish's not here. Morning, Rick.
Good morning. Morning.
Spring the rain, or?
Yeah, it was right behind me, boy. It ran through some real heavy stuff.
Yeah.
The wipe was on high and still had to slow down.
This is all, we're out there in the hall?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Carmen was out.
Okay, under drainage, reclassification report hearing, 11/5.
Well, that matches what you have, probably not. Okay, this is the second hearing on the reclass. Basically, we made adjustments. We use our standard procedure that we've developed through the years, where soils has a lot of the point determination. We then look at, we call it proximity, just how close is it. If land that's further away, gets a little reduction. Oh, okay.
I thought I had one.
It's in your packet.
Yeah.
Oh, but this one's a little different.
Oh, it's different than the one I got?
Yeah, because, and,
Difference in this one?
oh, yeah, I gave it to some of you, Mel.
It was in there, I had to dig through mine twice.
I can give you this one, or did you get one?
It's there.
You got one.
Here.
Oh.
That was stuck, it was about the same as mine, it was stuck on the bottom side of that big one.
Thank you.
So the soils gets us close to benefit, and then, if they're over a quarter up to half a mile, there's a small reduction, because they have to tile to get there. Also, right at the outlet, we do significant reduction. And I don't remember if it was 50 or 75% for the landowner right on the ditch, but it was big because you don't need it at all. And then a little further away, I think we did some 25%. Also on this one, there was some tiling on the Davis farm, you're all aware of some of that. And the tile was taken into a different district. What's been done historically is a 50% reduction if that is done, on those parcels. There are two parcels that Davis have, in section 1, I don't know if you have maps or not, but, in the southwest quarter of section 1, that we did a 50% reduction on. The draft copy that I gave you takes that all into account. I looked back, the total project cost we estimated on the preliminary engineering report was a little over $1.2 million, for this option. Let's see right away. $1.216 million was our estimate for this option. I sent down a summary, a cost sheet summary, late last week, and I think you probably got copies of that. I came up with $1.13 million total project cost. Some things that affected that, there's a quantity issue on one of the pipe. There was, one of the biggest factors was temporary easement has gone from $595 an acre, back when we did this originally, to $1,266 an acre. So that added $30,000 to the cost of the project compared to what I had in the preliminary engineering report. There was also an extra report written for an option to go east, that McClure's did, that was $16,580 something. 589, so those were added in. When I talked to Trish, she said the 1.35 million was a number that she went back to something she had for information summarizing things. I came up with just over 1.1 million. There's going to be some interest yet. That includes the interest to last week, what I have. The other thing Trish said was, there's old debt on this project. And I'm not sure exactly what that is, but she thought it was significant. And I think that's part of why it's at 1.35 also.
So that's repairs from previous time?
Yeah.
But we don't have a clue what it was?
Don't have the number, no. So.
Which is the reason why they don't, they try to put it in, Rick, you correct me, they try to have a little cushion in there in case something
Well, they
happens.
typically do, but this one was carrying debt evidently.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you're both right.
We try to keep a little in there in case
Yes.
they're gonna go fix something, they have a little, so they don't have to levy every time they turn around.
Yeah. So we don't have I thought maybe there was a summary put together that it showed how much cushion there was, but there isn't. It's just a number pulled from previous information. So, I guess in essence what I'm saying is that the final total levy on each parcel will be somewhere between what I had for the 1.1 million and what there was for the 1.35 million. Hopefully closer to mine. The interest is a little lower than I figured in my preliminary engineering report, and part of that is because, I'm sure it's because there was a levy made, so there were quite a few warrants called. Trish will have to take this, if it's approved, and figure what every parcel's total levy would be, subtract what they've paid already, and issue them a new, notice on what they have to pay.
So those the totals would be with your recommendations to the commission, right? Like,
Yes.
You said 50%?
50% on two of the parcels, yes. Oh, and we also did adjustments for ponding. We used aerial photography and found the areas that were ponding and added some points to those. Looked at doing that a little more than we used to.
So they were basically the highest areas.
Yeah.
The areas that drowned out consistently.
Yes. Yep. it's like I mentioned to some of you earlier, it just seems odd with as complicated as this project has been, that the three classes on one sheet. But that's how it is. The other thing that means is there's not so many landowners, so there's a significant expense for the ones that are paying.
And the addition, didn't we put some Ts in there that
Yeah, we used some Ts that we were not thinking we had to
weren't
use.
planning on, but
Yeah.
we put those in.
And there was,
Way for them to add to the
yes,
system if they
yes.
wanted to.
There was some rerouting of a 6-inch tile that was in the way of our new system. That was $9,000. And we didn't pay for a corrugated metal outlet. Instead, we decided to go with a concrete apron. So that did add a little bit. That added $2,000.
Oh, it's the outlet where you got the little baffles in it
Yes,
and stuff.
yep, to try and dissipate the energy.
How was our, and I know the number, but I guess I didn't remember. We were all nervous to get out doing plastic for fear that, you know, did we have enough rock? Were we gonna bid enough rock? Did we go over with the rock? What's your
The rock,
review after it's in
the
your
rock
own?
we had, was covered in the specs stating where it had to be and didn't have tonnage. That was up to the contractor. But we were on site every day and saw that they had plenty of rock there to do it. Somewhat accidentally worked out well. This project, the soils were good. The 35 brand C soils have been terrible. It would have been very hard to do the plastic option even in 35C, whereas it worked out really well in DD11 sub 5, because of the ground conditions were so much better there. So, between the good ground conditions and the rock being covered, I feel it's a very good project in the end. Still prefer the concrete. We're hearing rumors of some plastic after 20 to 25 years getting brittle and breaking, but that's...
But when we go to drainage meetings, we also hear that they're selling this stuff in Minnesota, and
Yes.
using a quote from the guy, it's a hell of a lot colder in Minnesota than it is here. I don't know if that's true, but they're putting a lot of plastic in the ground up there.
Yeah.
But we could never, ever justify it, because we never did it, that I know of.
I can tell you this, though, that one of their main engineers, that you know by name, is against the plastic in Minnesota, and I think that's why he left the firm he was with, and went to another firm. For the laterals and all of that, it's great. You can plow it, you can do it economically. But the mains, we want 100 years minimum. So I'm still, I guess, a concrete advocate, that's how I'd say it.
How do you know if the ground is gonna be, like you said, good condition?
Yeah,
versus
but what's
poor?
hard
How do you...
was it the rain or was it the sand in 35C?
Both, actually. Part of the problem with it is you almost need to dig a trench to check, because we dig up areas and know whether there's any sand or anything, but these pockets might only be 50 feet long and you're not checking it that often. So it might be a total soup hole for 50 or 100 feet, and then you're good for a ways.
So then would you put, no, you can't put cement and plastic, you can't interchange that.
It's difficult, they make connections that you can do that with, and we do that at roadways. We call for concrete under the roads, so. They developed a wrap that works real well. It goes around the joint, and then there's stainless steel bands that tighten it. That's worked really well. They do a demonstration where they put two pieces of different type together and raise it and shake it, and it holds together, so. That's helped our transition from one pipe to another.
I also think plastic probably saved us time up there, because
Yes.
when they were making huge steps up there.
Yes, it did.
And,
With the good ground conditions and using the plastic, they made really good
and I
progress.
still, in your comment when you talked to him, and he said, well, we wanted to bring the A-team, and he had the whole group there, and they were there in the morning early, and they were there
Yeah, they
working
were
late
there
at night.
before sunup, getting stuff warmed up.
Yeah,
So,
they hit it hard, and I'm real glad they did. Well, and I'm glad it's in the ground now. some of this rain could slow down harvest if it wasn't for the system, I think, but, yeah.
Well, we're getting ready to hopefully open that other one up back up and
Yeah.
the rain will come.
And Jordan in our office, he's on vacation the week before that, and he made sure to call me and tell me, he said, if we need to come in on Saturday to be sure it's ready for Monday, I'll be there. So, we're ready. That's my explanation, I guess.
Okay. And we got a letter from, Bruce Hefty, that's objection on the Davis farm.
It's taken care of.
Take care of it, okay.
That one from Carmen.
Farming.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's no.
Okay.
So, I guess basically concerned that, if, the reduction is granted, that, going forward into, perpetuity, is that, my understanding, and I'm certainly willing to be corrected, that, there's no one to check whether or not there's a tap into the main, if that starts being used. Not so much objecting to the lower, assessment at this point of the reclassification, because I understand and I believe that they're not utilizing it, but, at what point that occurs and what checks and balances are there to find that out.
Are you saying that it's done correctly, or?
I don't know if there's any process on a private tile to tap into, there's a,
I don't believe there is. Is there?
Yeah.
No.
And that...
I mean, in the code, I don't believe there's any kind of code that you have to follow, a process you have to go through when a private landowner who is in the drainage district wants to tap into the main.
Yeah, and I guess this is supposed to be 80 to 100-year project, 60-year project, none of us are gonna be here. Who's gonna check? And, it's, because anything that's reduced is a further encumbrance on every other landowner, and that, then it gets forgotten.
Right?
And I just don't see or hear any procedures, and I may be naive about it.
You're not, no, I've had another landowner, this is on something entirely different project, and that was, he thought there should be a, like,
Yeah, these are
when somebody wants to pattern tile another 160 acres and dump into the main, they think that should be recorded.
Yeah, it's not a, not that, this drainage commission has the authority to say, no, you can't do it.
But it should be
But a
recorded.
notice, or notice requirement either to the auditor or somebody so that it could be found.
Yeah, and the maps can be made and put in the file on the...
Yeah.
That would be
And I guess-
wonderful.
And you're talking just the private?
Yeah, the private
landowners.
Yeah, obviously anything that goes through.
Right, here.
You're just on this list, the names, but
Right.
someone wants to hook onto the pipe that they just are paying for.
But would the landowner have a report of that, or a map that you guys make of that?
If you wanted...
Well, my landlord, what I think reputable,
Outside the district, go in and start
contractors
paying.
gets a
Well,
tile map,
referring to someone,
but,
you're right.
I'm notoriously the absent landlord, okay?
Yeah.
And,
Who's here for most meetings?
yeah, I've attended more meetings, but I'm getting old. It's like, and not, involving Bruce or the Davis family or anything, but who's gonna know? And this particular property, I have an absent landlord to the north. Madeline Swearingen, is close. She's, Madeline, I think, is in her mid-90s. I don't want to insult her. There's another estate, Dave, Mark, and Tom are here. They own property. There's a minimal number of, in this particular circumstances and in this drainage district, on this project, there's quite a few of us who are not, residents of Polk County, or Humboldt County, and, have reason to know.
But if you're paying to put the tile in, wouldn't you get something from the person who puts the tile in?
No, I'm just trying to, I'm
understand.
putting tile in, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if I'm not,
Am I missing?
Yeah, you missed the point here. Basically, everybody that's on this sheet of paper has a right to tap into this main.
yeah.
Okay,
But
right.
they don't have to have any documentation when they do it. And Carmen is thinking we should have some record of what is...
Who's tapping
That-
in?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
How much
the drainage
where?
commission nor the other landowners have any official
So it doesn't overflow
knowledge.
the system, is that what you're
Well,
saying?
it's
Okay, well,
designed to take this...
It's designed
Trying to take it, but it's the monetary, if you adopt the reclassification, then it's into the future.
mhm.
That, you know, a reduction in the assessment rate, the benefit is reduced based upon the fact that they're not hooked in.
Gotcha.
Wouldn't it go back to
But
what
if
Paul
they do,
Anderson
then they
said
should
2
start
weeks
paying
ago?
on it, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's all I'm
Okay.
asking.
Paul Anderson said 2
Some
weeks
official
ago,
don't
because somebody
Yeah,
above
okay,
him
so
tiled,
very confusing.
Saturn tiled the field, and now his field doesn't drain as fast because
Yeah.
there's more water coming out of the field above him. That's what he was referring to.
Yeah. Well, and this probably,
She's
right now, this probably won't be a problem, but like Carmen basically said, maybe it'll be 40 years from now, something happening nobody will be familiar with. I mean, no one's gonna remember those were reduced 50%. How do you cover that situation? I don't know of a good way. You could get legal.
So you don't have to get a permit or anything like that to do something?
If you're on the list.
That anybody's told me about it.
You have to get your 1078 at the FSA office, and if they catch you doing that, they're gonna flood your tile. So it's not a big problem.
Okay.
Oh,
You
okay.
have to have that before you go work in your field.
Sure. Yeah,
Oh, for your wetlands. Yeah.
true, good point, Dave.
Okay, so maybe.
So it is, somewhere it is noted then, somewhere what's going in.
Yeah, we won't get caught doing it there without it, they're gonna penalize you.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
big time.
So
good point.
Maybe it's a non-point.
One thing would be nice is whenever they do tap into the main, it's on the maps.
Yes.
You know, shown on the maps.
So is there a way that we can coordinate with it?
No.
No,
No.
that's private entity.
Okay, does the drainage commission have the authority to, you know, make a policy or not? Or is it just purely the statute?
I have a feeling we follow the codes, and that's all we can do. I don't think we can overstep that.
Like create any procedural things, or?
You could, as long as it was within the law, you can do some things.
I think like mapping and recording things, we can request that, but we
Yeah.
can't make you do it, because you could say it was not in the code.
For example, the easements, that's a weak link in the drainage code where there's no requirement to record all these easements. So if someone is buying a farm and wants to search the abstract, it won't be in there.
It doesn't show up.
Yeah, so they have to understand drainage law and know what to look for. But, yeah.
Who asked all the questions?
Net questions are good.
Anything else? Dave?
When are we gonna know the exact dollar amount, and when is this gonna get built? That's the two
Good
questions.
point, Carmen was kinda asking that too earlier in the office.
And I'll chime in, I guess, you know, based upon, this is accruing interest, the project's over with, and what's the interest rate, 6%, 7%?
6, I think.
I mean, this project functionally has been over, and, you know, we're just adding interest. I have to stop these.
Carmen was asking me about it, maybe a special levy to be made. I mean, you did one levy.
I mean, it's small.
Yeah, oh yeah, but not a lot of landowners.
No, I don't know why we couldn't do that.
Okay, I brought it up, I think, back in June. Has anything been done about it, or thought about it, or?
When was that first levy made?
I was paid last September, it's almost a year old. September.
Well, that was an attempt to reduce the interest.
Yeah.
It would reduce it more again if you do a levy.
If you do other levies, so there's a...
I know certain counties have done special levies, so I know we can do it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, and I guess that's sort of the same answer that was given in June, is there any, if it was to take any action on this?
We can't do it till you know what it's gonna cost.
Exactly. Well, yeah, there's, with the adjustments, it's a little more than the 1.1, but the interest I showed here was through the 30th of last month, so the interest is up to date, real close. Engineering's gonna be very little more, and we're less than the preliminary engineering report. We need to sit down and go through what we might pick for a cutoff date, and then figure the interest. The complication comes where some people are putting this on waiver.
Yeah, some don't.
So you have to kinda take that into account. Here's their principal payment, but how much interest will they be paying by the time these are paid off? So we need to come up with a number, but there could be some variation based on the interest accumulation on the ones that are...
It won't be an exact number.
No, it won't be...
Close.
Yes, yeah.
But with the work being done...
Yeah, it'll be very close.
Done, and there shouldn't be any more bills coming in.
No, that's right.
So why is there I guess I don't understand what...
Interest, okay, interest to date is easy to figure. I mean, Shannon has to print it somehow, and I've got copies of that in the file. But the waiver ones, are they gonna take...
Some can spread it over 20 years, so they're gonna be paying interest for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And some are gonna pay it off that day they get the levy.
And we don't have to pay any more interest, and just pay what has been accumulated
Right.
so far.
Right.
So then it has to be separated?
So it has to be
The stuff that
separated out,
has-
and there's no
what
computer
time
software.
to-
So how do we know who's doing, has to be done by waivers by a certain
Yeah, the
date?
treasurer's office has that, or Trish doesn't, on who's paying on waivers.
So what is the deadline to get the waivers in? Or is there...
I think it's already done.
Passed, so they'll have a list. But that's the only variation I see, Dave, is what's on waivers and...
But this would have been determined as part of the September 1, with the tax statement.
Should have come out then.
Yeah, it would have come out then, it didn't make those deadlines. And to wait until March is 6% interest on...
For those that wanna pay it right away,
Well,
yeah.
I'd say as soon as we have Trish back, then this thing will be moving forward. Hopefully, I'd like to think it would be buttoned up and finished up. That's my, and I hope,
And I'll be down here enough too, I can sit in on that as far as anything we can add.
and we can do that without disclosing a whole lot, hopefully in the next day or so, when we find out how she's doing.
You'll need to approve when she gets her numbers together, you'll need
Right.
to approve the levy, so there will be...
Is there any,
Yeah, I'm sure you don't know the publications or timeframes on proving the levies, or there's no 20 days or anything.
No, that's right, 'cause once the reclass is approved, then it's just a matter of coming up with a number to levy.
Yeah, you don't have to have a public hearing for that, you just
Okay.
will have to approve it before we can, because before when the meeting is done.
We could do it on next week.
Well, Trish gets it back done, she'll have it ready that fast, so if you put it on there, we'll put it on.
Good priority. If we can do it. I have one more question, fellas. If you got, I don't know this yet, nobody knows yet, haven't been out in the fields this fall, but if a hole or something like that opens up in this tile, and I'm not saying it's gonna, does that get billed to the project, or does that get billed to the maintenance fee that's in the account?
It depends on what the problem is that's causing that. If it's something the contractor did, you'd expect him to be paying up for it. And we've got a full year guarantee after it's accepted. So, if he's unwilling to fix it, we can get somebody to come in and put it towards his bond.
Doesn't he have the option to come up and look at it?
And we absolutely-
He said, well, for me to mobilize and come up there, I hire
You're absolutely right.
somebody to come and do it.
And that we wanna be sure and do that anytime there's a problem, we'll notify the
But that's,
contractor.
you're our eyes and ears when you're out there.
Yeah, harvest would be a good time to see, hopefully nobody drops in a hole or anything. Yeah. I've seen that happen, yes, half the combine disappearing, but, yeah, it can happen.
Settling, freezing.
So, you break on the old pile or
They were
something.
putting back in
Yeah.
last winter were
Yep,
pretty
sensible, yep,
Well, what's
So-
a 48-inch tile?
yes.
Rock, maybe also, what, would be a size?
Typically, it go back on the contractor or his bond, unless it's something he had nothing to do with, then there could be some crosswalk issue. And that's where the smaller extra amount should cover that for years, so.
There's nothing with him.
Not after the retainage is paid. No. Then we have the bond, once that's paid. We don't wanna deal with the bond when the contractor typically doesn't want you dealing with the bond.
Right.
So, yeah,
Question, Rick.
yeah.
If we accept the reclassification, would we accept it with the number that we don't know what Trish has?
Right, that would be a later approval of the levy
So
amount.
just accept it right now as is?
Right.
As stated?
You know, if the numbers change, the dollar amount changes for
There you go.
everyone, but the percentage
Percentage stays the same, and that's where most range attorneys say you're not changing the benefit. Final dollars, yes, because the dollars change. Percent benefit isn't changing.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept, the reclassification report for
As
DD
printed.
11, sub 5.
I would second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'm always available, or almost always available by phone. I've been running a chainsaw somewhere, working at home, but,
Trish gets back, we'll make this a priority and get her on it right away.
absolutely, I think that's great. That'll be...
Yeah, that's very helpful.
We can do is wait and hear.
Yeah.
I did call her just to get some information late last week, and she sounded 100% better than she did just not that long ago, so hopefully the doctor says go for it. Oops.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah.
I would tell you that a couple of phone calls last week with Mr. King in reference to out here. I talked to him, I also visited with Rick. I told him that I would go out there and look to see what the pipe looks like. Of course, about the time I go out to look, we'd had rain, so there is water coming through that pipe again. It doesn't look real thick, heavy, but it was still running out of there.
Sure.
Tentatively, the date for combining or picking that corn on Dial's area is the 20th.
Friday.
The late pick is the 23rd. They've already got, across the section over there, Cliff Erickson's is already gone. So, they are in the area, and I told Dave that, and I said, so Dial said that he would allow you to put, some machines on his property, but you can't have it on the field until they're out of there because of the fact that they don't have enough room for, and he said, well, I'm just coming from south of Fort Dodge, so it isn't like I'm coming from home. I've got the equipment down here, you let me know when they're there to start and I'll have it. So he said, he promised that he would come. So the good news is, they're aware, the 20th or the 23rd is, the date. Dial said they're gonna spray it, so it'll be ready to go, depending on what the rain does, but everything looks
They
good.
sprayed yesterday.
Okay, you guys verified that instead of 20 pipe, there's, what, 5?
Four.
Four, is it?
Four of the 36-inch pipe that are garbage, that we don't want them using.
Yeah,
There's a few of the 36 inches that they've left a hole in for tile connections. We're gonna see if we get those used up when we're going through the 36s. If there's any of those left, they make a grout, the wire is still in the hole. So, yeah, so we'll seal those holes up good. I think we may get them used up. So there's enough 36s out there to not use the damaged ones and not get any more pipe on site.
so Dial's was concerned about, after they picked the corn, whether, Jacobson's would be down to put the laugh back out so that they can have their route. When Rick talked to him, they're gonna go to a laser on their bucket so that they are less likely to have to need as much laugh.
Don't need as many laugh, yeah.
But Dial said, whatever they have to do, if they want it rolled, he could roll it with his roller, or if they want it disc, as long as they're there doing, he wants it, whatever they need. So he's willing to, he would like you to stop out there if you got time today and take a look at those two.
We already met about it.
Perfect. So, anyway, I spent most of my Thursday and Friday on the phone with three of them.
I believe
But I
it.
think at least we know that we're close.
Yeah, everybody's on the same page at
Yeah.
this point.
So Kings are anxious to get in here, 'cause he thinks he might have to pay tax for living up here for going on 2 years, so, better, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's anxious to get it done too, so, that's all I have.
We'll be out ahead of time, even if they're starting Monday, we'll either do it on the weekend or come real early Monday. Okay, it won't take us but a couple hours to be ahead of them, so.
Okay. My comments were on, this DD 10 cleanout that's gonna be happening this fall. I went and walked the outlet, the last, there's about a half mile there. And I didn't walk the whole half mile, but it's a mess. And that's Private Creek area.
Is that up with Donnie's? Darryl and Don Keenan?
Yeah, yeah. I went and drove up his lane and walked down through there. There's an old bridge and that's fell in and other things and trees and...
That's on the private portion of the
Yeah.
ditch. You do have the right to go downstream, you of course want to notify the landowner what you're intending to do, but, I mean, it's a mess. And we gotta do something, otherwise it's really not gonna go whole lot good,
Especially get that bridge out, because it's, you get pilings in the middle of the creek and then there's trees,
Okay.
it's like a dam.
Okay.
So,
So that would be over and above the ditch?
yeah,
It's outside the...
outside the drainage area.
Okay.
It's, section 21, it's a Pressler and a Keppers, looks like. So,
I'd like to look at if we can schedule ahead and maybe go out there together and look at it.
yeah, 'cause I mean, to do it right, you need to go in there and cut down a whole bunch of trees. But some of these trees are
Wow.
36-inch trees, cottonwoods, you know.
Similar to up here by the Union Place area.
Yeah, it's not that full, but there's a lot of, fair amount of big trees, and there's tons of roots, but,
And maybe we can get Rick or Travis Peterson to be with us too,
yeah,
'cause they're doing the clean out. We could just well do whatever we need downstream.
the bridge definitely has to come out.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
I haven't been out there, the outlet. I've driven the route of the ditch itself, but...
It's fairly wide, it's probably 15, 20 feet wide at the bottom, most places. I mean, you could get down there with a cat, just scrape it out and clean it out, maybe, I don't know.
So when you say mess, you're talking the mess is down below
Down
the
below
ditch?
the ditch. The ditch
bad.
is not too bad, it's just got silt.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah, the ditch is just silt, but boy, once you get out of the ditch, it's but it's not wide, it's just the ditch bank. You know, there's just a row of trees right along the ditch bank on each side.
Okay. Let's schedule something, hopefully, go with it. Sounds like it's supposed to rain through Thursday, so what I heard. Need some, but not that much. I can't, trying to think of anything else. Peterson Excavating is working on, they're gonna be moving to ditch 18, I don't know if they have yet. They're keeping in touch with our guys in the office. Hope to wrap that up and then get over on 10. They're also gonna do a little work up in Bradgate at the outlet of the pipe up there, in between the two projects.
Should be headed up there this week.
Oh, okay, good.
I've got him going over on Tuesday.
Oh, good, okay. Excellent. Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you. Make a motion to go to drainage.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in
favor?
Aye.
Vote carried. Back in regular session.
I got one question. I was in here 2 weeks ago, I talked to Eric Thunderberg about that passing underneath the road on P-19.
Oh, yeah.
He called me back and just had a discussion. He says I gotta get an engineering firm to approve that that's drainage needed to go underneath that road. That's a 1930 tile. You guys know you got a problem on 120 gravel road, it sets water 3 weeks in the spring. I think it's money wasted. All Tyler said, we need a new tile put in there. Why do we need to go through the hassle? We've done this before, I went through 2 different private projects, group projects, and put it in, but now we're dealing with you guys. And I don't see why we need an engineering.
You said the county tile?
No, the county. And, you know, and if I have to, I mean, I wouldn't wanna do this. If it goes underneath P-19, the 10-inch tile, I could hook on that 10-inch tile with my new 18, and can go a half mile to your other gravel road, and take all your water, surface water off your gravel road, push that down through there, and it's gonna blow your tile sky high. I mean, it's all private tile, we can do what we want to do.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do that.
I think the issue is, Bruce, they have to follow the code because everybody would like a bigger tile access out of the farm. And that costs the county money.
But you guys really got a problem on the railroad, it's not us, and we're trying to solve your problem for you guys, and plus us too, you know. But this is a great benefit for the railroad. This sets underwater in the spring.
Yeah, which road is it?
120th Street.
20th?
And P-19, the highway there.
P-19.
We just go 100 foot under the P-19, the outlet's right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can go up onto that 10 with an 18 and take them up, and then stop there over there to your gravel road. I mean, we can do both without asking you guys, but it'd be a hell of a mess for you guys to do it. And I have no objection to doing it, because we force that water through there, it'll blow that 10, I mean,
Yeah.
force them at 10.
Yeah, well,
And if your surface water all going in on that 120th, you got like, it's 200 some acres of surface water goes in that pot. He calls it a lake, Ben was just in there.
Yeah.
The lake there, the only way it gets out is tile water. Therefore, it's your guys' road, and to keep it drained, we're willing to put an 18-inch tile in if you guys are willing to pay the tile.
cut through the road.
And I getting bids already, and my 3 guys, landlords wondered how this set, and I said, I gotta get the okay from the county. So we don't have to, we can start anytime, we hook on it. I wanna do things right and have it done right and start out.
Haven't you established some kind of policy for private tile under county roads?
Yes.
Okay.
But if you wanna, we can't stop it, you know, if they wanna go through, they can't, see there's one already there, and he wants to upsize it. And I can understand your point too.
I mean, it's put in 1930s and does. We went through quicksand, we moved it over 3 different places where we blew it, where it blew out 3 times this year already. And you can see where the hand dug it 3 different times, and they finally put it over here. So, I mean, it's foolish to get an engineering firm, anybody and everybody knows that.
Yeah, so you got clean business. Now, I see why he thinks it's not worth it.
Well, I can understand it too, but you get into the areas where, well, we did it here, well, then the next guy says, well, I want one through, and, well, you really don't need it, but I want one anyway. You know, say he's got an 18, I want a 36 through there, okay, we gotta put a 36 because it's requested. That's the problem you get into.
I agree, but you guys know on the gravel road, you guys have a problem like that. You can talk to your Ben, you can talk to Mike Carpenter, he says I put all that roadsides for that road blockage for every spring and fall sometimes too. And he said it's a mess. And then plus you got food trucks going over town too.
Yeah.
You know, for that site right beside it. And that's why it goes to hell on you real quick.
Yeah, have a deal.
Oh. So we're just here trying to get the okay to do it and get some bids, and I got 4 guys bidding on it this week.
Okay. I'll have a conversation with Ben and see if there's any kind of thing we can protect ourselves down the road so that we don't open it up to anybody who wants to just increase their tile size. Because that's the issue you get into. You do it for one person, then you gotta do it for them all.
I agree with you.
And that's why they got codes, and that's why you gotta follow them. So,
But when you got if you know you got a problem, it's not the farmer's ground out here, it's actually your problem on the road too. I think that would localize it, that you guys need it too, it's not, everybody's getting into this.
okay,
But I'd like to know back as soon as possible, if they want to get this going.
okay.
If you could, please. Thank you.
Okay, we're
Thanks,
back
Rick.
in-
You bet, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Rick.
I'm just a call away, remember that.
Yeah. Got your number on speed dial. Okay, so we're back in regular session now, right?
Yep. Accept the resignation of Jailer Tracy Starwell, effective September 6th. I think this one that was talking about last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, after reading the letter, I guess I make a motion to accept her resignation as of the 6th of September.
So she's had about 10 years, and
It's too bad.
I'll second. Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Committee reports.
Still have your 509.
I got that there, you wanna do that one now?
No, you're the committee, who's supposed to do it?
You're in charge, Steve. Okay.
Forget it.
All right, we'll move down to 209A.
509A report is required to be filed every year, to show that we are in compliance on our health insurance plan. So this is the report for this year, it's all filled out, ready to go, it just needs the chairman's signature. I make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the 509A certificate of compliance.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
These from the committee from the 26th.
Yeah. Well, I'll start. On the 27th, I had my landfill board meeting down in Fort Dodge.
New hiree in there.
Got a new hiree in there, Mitzi, oh geez, get from right in front of the car. Can't think of her name, Mitzi. But, we had an interesting meeting, I think she'll be a good fit, the way it looks. They're going out to get some bids for another haul truck. But, it's pretty much all within budget. Got our new cell, is finished, so once we get the old one full, they'll start putting garbage in the new cell.
Got it all lined and everything's ready for the state.
Yeah, yeah, so, that should, we had a conversation, we were just curious, like, how long is this thing gonna be viable? They project 80 years, based on our current, that we're taking in. But our tonnage has gone down a little bit recently, so. Fair Lake, Fair Lake area.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I thought it was that's right there.
That's close to
the
you, so.
extent.
So I think that's all I had, other than I went out and looked at some couple of drainage issues.
Are they allowing us to line in with the blue clay yet, or is it still have to have the bladder?
I don't know, they put clay down, I don't know if it's blue or whatever kind of clay, it looked brown to me. And then they plant the plastic, and then they put the sand over, and,
Still have to have the bladder?
yeah. Oh, I said bladder, they said black. Yeah, they got the bladder in there, yeah.
That's an extra $1 million or better.
Oh, gosh, yeah. The numbers they throw out at this meeting are huge.
But to think that 80 years, that's a lot of garbage.
That is,
I mean, there's, how many counties, right?
oh,
It's
there's
huge.
43 communities,
Yeah.
or, you know, entities, I should say, are part of the region.
Are more people recycling, you think, now? or
I think
not?
that helps. You know, they're doing a lot of that. You know, we don't take any type of yard waste, and they do a good job of trying to, the problem with recycling, it's hard to get rid of it now.
Well, that's what I was wondering, 'cause I'm seeing, to me, around here, I'm seeing less and less recycling. People are doing less and less.
Yeah. Because it's, and they did, there are also a, can't even think of what they call this machine, it takes, you know, like your white, clear white, or plain white styrofoam shipping stuff.
Yeah.
They get in a machine that melts it and turns it into cubes. So you don't have this big white fluffy styrofoam, but it's gotta be clean, so they're gonna start taking it just from appliance dealers and packaging places,
Oh, okay.
more commercial areas.
That'd be really big.
And it, you know, kinda goes into the machine, it comes out like a soft ice cream, kind of, and then it turns it into bricks. So then they recycle it.
Huh.
Yeah.
They're not taking it from households.
No, that's just strictly commercial vendors are gonna start doing that first. Because the thing is, it's gotta be clean, there can't be tape on it, there can't be staples in it, it's gotta be clean. So you just start with like appliance dealers, because they get a lot of styrofoam.
Put your tape off, and how many people actually do it.
Yeah, the hardware
Rinse the
boxes,
bottles
things
out,
like that.
all of the stuff they do there.
Mhm. And it causes problem for recyclers when they don't do that. All right, that's it.
Okay, I had, the 27th, I had UDMA meeting in Fort Dodge. On the the 30th, juvenile detention down in Eldora. Had some issues that, I mean, as far as Humboldt County, everything is good there. We're trying to coordinate whether we're gonna go down and try to catch some of the people in Des Moines. You know, with all of the different, locations there's several different, detention places around the state, and it doesn't seem fair that Des Moines charges almost twice as much as Eldora gets, or Cherokee gets, or Waterloo gets.
Don't make sense.
So they are trying to figure out a way how we, can kinda get our representatives on board to say, you know, we have as many people in Eldora, but yet we don't get near as much money as Des Moines, and we're tired of the excuses, well, Eldora doesn't cost near as much to have your facility there. It does. Sorry that you're in Des Moines, but there's really no reason why we should get less, so the group is probably gonna go down to the State House and try to bend some ears to see if we can't be somewhat on the same, because, you know, Cherokee and us up here, we all have to pay, but we don't get the same in return, and then Des Moines sends part of their kids to us. 'Cause they can...
We should charge them the money rate.
Well, they send them to us and pay our rate, and they're still making money on the people that are paying, so it's crazy. So that was it was supposed to have been a quick meeting, and it was almost 2 hours, so, and this past, I guess I didn't have anything other than 2 days on the phone trying to hope we get this thing going out here with King. Just he promised he would be here, so. That's all.
On the 26th, I had a, CSS, HR payroll over in Mason City. So I was, it's only supposed to be an hour, it almost turned into 3 hours, and I didn't get out of there till after 3. So, and then the 27th, we had a quad agenda, okay, for CSS. We all have to have every quarter a quad meeting, so we're putting the agenda together for the quad meeting on Wednesday. So that was over in Pocahontas, and I met with, Allison and Eric, I can't think of Eric's last name. Lou. He's a, police chief over at, Fonda. So he's gonna be the, he's gonna be the chairman and I'm gonna be the co-chair. So so I don't have to, and then Wednesday, the 28th, was our actual quad meeting in Fort Dodge. We all came together, and then at noon, I met with Teresa Naughton with LifeWorks, to kind of see what they kind of do. That was it for that week. I had anything. Nothing else, it was just busy the week before.
I just got a text, Dave, reminding us the food pantry truck is gonna be in it noon.
Today,
That's what she just said. If anybody can help, 'cause she's in Lewisburg at the annual meeting, and also the food, mobile food pantry is Wednesday night from 4:30 to
I think come every month,
every other month.
it seems like it's here all the time.
It starts at 4:30 and it usually is over by 5:30. So
Goes
it's most
fast.
of it gone, yeah, so. Sorry. Sure.
I guess you guys are having coffee already.
Oh, that's in the water, we're in the water.
Oh, are ya?
Try.
27th, I was up to the food pantry, had the picture taken of getting the whole gun,
Thank you.
donated from the fair. To the VA meeting here in Humboldt. And I went out, met with Dean and the inspector out to the dog pound, and they, don't have any records, all the paperwork disappeared out there. And so we've got to go back through the maps and find paperwork. And then I went up north here to Thompson's drainage ditch. Wednesday, I had a Midas meeting in Fort Dodge. Met the new director. Thursday, I had a board of adjustment, but that got canceled. And, Wednesday, the 4th, I looked at the drainage that they call it on that. 140th in Utah, I believe it was. And then I looked at a car lot for the board of adjustment, where they want to put another car lot. We got 2 of them now. Put some cars in the county.
A junkyard, is what you're saying?
One up on 155th Street, the other one is on 130th. Blacktop. That's all I got done last week.
And you did, your email said you did touch base with John on that?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're playing tag.
130th. Whereabouts on 130th?
Up past the high school. Over there.
230.
1,500 blocks, so it'll be almost to the flare block now.
Okay.
1 acre is in there.
It isn't the north, one on the north
I
side?
think where the 1 acre, where the one junkyard was already.
Oh, on
I
the
was
south
gonna
side?
say, no, the north side.
North side, oh.
It would be the old,
I think that's where the address is,
but it's the old field.
yeah, where they had that junkyard out there.
Yeah.
And then it all cleaned up. Marvin, we talked him out of putting it on the gravel, I think he's, or on the blacktop, he's going up to, $150 gravel. All that Bruce had,
Oh.
just down the road to
I think the thing is now, the scrap irons are so low, these places, they're looking for places to stockpile.
Stock it, yeah.
Oh, is that what the buzzword?
Yeah, I mean, you get nothing for steel right now.
Right.
You don't have to pay your gas to haul it
I
there.
get there.
So they're looking for places to stockpile.
Okay, so wonder why all of a sudden these are coming up, is it, we really want?
two of them, both guys from Fort Dodge area, and they wanna come up here on property. One guy says I'm retiring and they want something to do. So they probably already jumping down there.
Yeah, they're putting him out probably.
Do we
We're
want?
gonna have to
No.
have a board adjustment meeting on them. So I'll get bylaws from John before the meeting.
Okay.
The meeting's gonna be the 19th.
Because typically they fill full of junk cars and iron.
Right, can we keep it up?
I said, I ain't gonna allow another one on the highway. I couldn't help it. At least they're on a blacktop with 150 fields up there, but there's nothing that's a crossroads with a mile and a half up north of Hardy. He wanted to put it on the blacktop there going into Hardy, Bradgate Road. But, no. He said, well, I can't move it up on his mother's place, and that was a mile north up on 155th. Okay, anything else come before the board?
Wanted to let you know, yes, I do. Wanted to let you know that the treasurer's office has put together a fundraiser, for starting in September here, doing Wednesday and Thursday Jean Days. If the employees wanna pay $5 a day, then the money will go to, the delinquent account, program at the school. So they'll try to help pay down some of those, so we'll go for the lunches and stuff. Yep. So, they will be doing that, so if people notice people in jeans on Wednesday, Thursday, that's why. There's ISAC is holding a county budgeting and property tax seminar, at the Gateway Hotel in Ames, coming up on October 2nd. If any of you are interested, said to ask your supervisors. I think it's probably some of the stuff that they covered at the fall ISAC, but I'll let you look at the agenda. If anybody wants to go, let me know.
Wednesday.
Are you going, Peggy? No, I'll be gone. Oh. I can't go. Otherwise, I'd be there. 2020 is coming before we know it. I was looking through some local option sales tax information, because I know that our local option sales tax will expire in 2020. And so, just wondering if you guys are gonna wanna start some discussions on if we wanna leave our language the same for the unincorporated area, or if we wanna change it, or what we wanna do. So, if so, I'll put that on a future agenda, but I want to get it on your radar so you know.
So that comes up for a vote for the county then,
Yep,
in 2020, so
it'll be on the November ballot.
November ballot.
Yep.
So would the language be just the way it's worded on, I'm getting
Yeah,
that.
however you word it on your ballot, and if
Okay.
it's approved by the voters, then that's what you have to do until the next time it comes up or you have another election.
Okay.
Currently, we do, 30% for, community betterment and 70% for secondary roads.
Okay.
Okay, so just so you know that. You saw the note on Dean not wanting to be the animal catcher, but then there was also this. Wanted you to be aware of that. There's some opioid stuff that's confidential, so I will give you that also. Dean did send up a report from when you guys were, when they did the inspection, so if anybody wants to see the inspection on the animal house, there.
What do we have out there for bugs? Nothing
There hasn't
except...
been anything out there.
Oh, yeah, 'cause the county actually doesn't pick up that many.
Dean had one, you know, we got bid.
So where'd that one go after we got that one?
Not sure. last I knew it, the events had.
So does that have to go through the quarantine then?
I probably had it shots.
As long as it's rabies, it's everything's
I
good.
chased the thing for all day, and finally they got it to eat something with the drug in it to calm it down. And I guess we got a hold of it, got it out to the vet's office, and it moved around a bit too painful. But they had it drugged up.
The American also sent us a notice that they're gonna be in the area trimming trees, so if people see America out and around, you know what they're doing it for your safety to keep the tree boughs off of the line. I put in your packet of stuff up here to some of these notices of right of redemption on some lots that are in the city of Livermore, so I have a copy, there's a copy there. You guys, if you wanna check them out. This is from ICAP, a notice that you need to be aware of, that's also confidential. And then the people were here last week and removed the asbestos in the basement. So the two bills came in, they matched the estimates that they gave us, so I'm gonna give them to you for approval. And then we'll pay them next time. They should be here all this week, putting in the air conditioning up in the courtroom. They were starting this morning, and a lot of the works are in the county attorney's office in the back.
Yeah, I've been under desk.
Right behind her desk. So we, made sure that the system was on test for her desk only, and so they could come in and go, they were gonna move the desk out of the way. Other than that, things are coming up, I think we're pretty, this is the week they were to do the Bible reading out in the courthouse lawn, they're gonna be over on this west side. The rain probably doesn't help matters any, but hopefully they'll be here when things calm down a little bit, and then they'll be out on the lawn, so if you see people out there. They were gonna put a poster out front, we said it'd be 2 small stakes in the yard with a banner, so that people know what they're doing.
See, yeah.
They told him that was fine. Lot going on, still working on the website, making some progress. We said there's not much left we have to do yet, and then we'll be live, so hold on to that, it won't take much longer.
Perfect.
What about, is that not up to us, the guy that was retired and was willing to be in charge of the...
Looking for the animal?
Yeah,
The pool?
is that the committee, is that your committee that does that?
Dean.
Dean sent out an email.
He said there's a guy possibly interested in, he's bored, he used to do it.
Yeah, that's what he used to do.
I replied back, if you can talk to him, talk to him.
Yeah.
I told him go ahead and talk to him, but I says, I don't think the county wants to hire. I think they ought to hire it through the animal control board, or the doghouse board.
That'd be awesome.
Do it through them.
That's what I was wondering, since we had that letter, how's it moving? That was my question.
Well, some of this stuff we can't talk about, because it's confidential.
Okay.
But it's moving forward. We're looking at getting financing through the Economic Development Association. It hasn't been approached to them yet, but visiting with the board, it's coming up on our next meeting. So, hopefully we'll have everything ready for that meeting, and then we can
Move forward.
move forward.
Okay, I was just curious.
And I know that we had this, some of these things that Peggy put out, with fall work coming up, gas pipelines and whatnot, farmers just, I was gonna say something to Ben when I saw that, and then I forgot about it, but whenever we're dealing with people that are like Bruce, that said, well, we just wanna get that across, and we wanna make sure that, we don't have one of those explosions, 'cause
Yeah.
that...
You wanna make sure there's nothing in the ground before you
There's
dig.
all kinds of buried pipeline, regardless, we're out here in the middle of nowhere, we still have buried anhydrous, gas, natural gas, whatever, there's all kinds of pipelines, so when you see those yellow, need somebody hurt bad, so.
Right.
Well,
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second Bruce's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All carried.